Jeremy from Sacramento is calling up next, and he wants to talk about some maybe potentially surprising cuts.
Hey, O'Leary, it's Jeremy. How you doing?
Good, brother.
Okay, good. You staying hydrated?
Always.
Yeah? Okay, you got it when you work out. Hey, I wanted to just pick in your brain. Who is your guy, or what your prediction or guys that are on your list that it's going, like, that you're worried about being cut? Like, which guys, if they get cut, is going to be very painful for you? I mean, because there's going to be some for a lot of us. Like, there's no way everyone's going to be happy, right? There's a certain amount of roster spots. You got 53. I look at the wide receiver room, look at the tight end room. There seems to be, even in the secondary, no matter how you slice it, there's going to be some cuts that are going to hurt. And I'm just curious if there's guys that you're particularly worried about and don't want to see go, but know they might be on the chopping block. And have a good week.
Thank you, Jeremy. This is an interesting question. It got me thinking a little bit. So we just talked about him, but there's a chance they cut Chris Herndon. They like Croft, and he was running with the first teamers. So I wouldn't cut him because he's on a cheap deal. There's not a ton of depth in that room anyway, but the Jets have made a lot more surprising cuts than moving on from Chris Herndon if they were to do that. So that would probably rank up a little bit high. I think there's a chance he figures it out outside of Adam Gase, who historically has never been able to figure out using a tight end that's not named Julius Thomas, and that's because Peyton Manning was running the show there. I'm going to say, and then the two other guys I will name, both guards. So really, there are a lot of guys. When you think about it, at right guard, there are a lot of options here. A ton. We know who's going to play left guard, Elijah Vera Tucker. But at right guard, you have Van Roten, Alex Lewis, Tristan Hogue, or Hodge, however you say his last name. Oh, my God. Cam Clark. There's really the Dan Feeney. They have a ton of guys here. So I think the two that would bother me the most if they moved on from would be undrafted free agent Tristan Hogue or Greg Van Roten. Now, if I were to bet today, I personally think that Greg Van Roten is going to win the starting right guard job. And that's where I'm coming from on this angle, that if they decided to move on from him and let it be Dan Feeney or Alex Lewis, then I think I'd be taken back by that, because I thought Van Roten was fine last year. He wasn't great, and maybe he was a little bumpy at times, but I would like to see him play in between Morgan Moses and Connor McGovern. I think he could be, serviceable at right guard. And if Van Roten is your weakest link on the offensive line, well, then you've made massive improvements considering what this line was last year. So those are probably my three. There's probably others that aren't coming to mind right now. I know you mentioned the wide receiver room, but I don't worry about anyone who, is listed in the top five: Davis, Mims, Moore, Crowder, Cole. After that, don't really have a love affair with too many of those guys on the bottom of the roster. Whatever they decide to do, they do. And on cornerback, like Bryce Hall is not going to get cut. That's the only corner that I have any kind of emotional attachment to. So really, it would just be those three for me, I think.